Today on Sports Central, we'll be going over our next schedule preview this offseason, and it will be over the North Carolina Tar Heels. And this was a team that went 7-6 in the 2019 season. And yeah, North Carolina certainly having new head coach Mack Brown. This team was expected to improve quite a bit last season, and they definitely did. They made it to 7-6. And how will they do in 2020 is what we're going over here today. Of course, I expect North Carolina to be much better heading into 2020. I think they can easily contend for an ACC championship. And we're going over a few players that this team will be losing, who they're going to be returning, and also going over their schedule for the first time this offseason, starting off the games that this team has had since November. And yeah, of course, we start off on November 2nd. They played Virginia, and of course, Virginia last season was very good. So yeah, being able to keep that game close was good. They lost that one 31-38. That was certainly was a winnable game either way. They lost in Pittsburgh the next week on the road, 27-34. That was a tough overtime game there. And then the next week they played Mercer, easy win, 56-7. They also had a good win against NC State on the road, 41-10. And I understand that NC State was 4-8 last season, but that is still a good win, being able to beat NC State by a good 31 points. They also beat Temple in their bowl game, 55-13. Temple didn't even contend in that one. So yeah, once again for North Carolina, this was a very good season in my opinion. I mean, compared to how they've been in the past. As you remember, the past couple of seasons, I mean, North Carolina's been a bottom feeder in the ACC, and yeah, it looks like Mack Brown and this team is going to flip that upside down heading into 2020. I certainly think North Carolina's going to be able to contend for, quite honestly, an ACC title, no doubt about that one, and we'll get to more about that in a sec. But yeah, between September and October, this team was 4-4, and yeah, between November and the postseason, they were 3-2. So yeah, they're pretty consistent over the season. Here's a returning production for North Carolina, and here's why I'm saying that I think North Carolina is going to be a big contender. They returned their starting quarterback Sam Howell. He was a big part of this team last season, and he's very young too. He had just over 3,600 yards last season with 38 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. He's going to be really good heading into next season. I think, quite honestly, he could easily have an NFL career ahead of him if he can avoid the sophomore slump. But they returned their top running back Michael Carter as well. He had just over 1,100 yards of offense with 5 touchdowns. And they also returned their second running back in Javonte Williams. He also had a ton of yardage. He has over 1,100 yards with 6 touchdowns. So yeah, they had 2 running backs that combined for over 2,000 yards. Both of them are returning. And you also return basically your entire receiving core. You return your top wide receiver in Dyami Brown, which he had just over 1,000 yards too with 12 touchdowns. And then Daz Newsome, their second wide receiver, also had 1,000. So yeah, you're returning all of your 1,000-yard offensive players, which is going to be huge. No doubt on that one. Daz Newsome also had 10 touchdowns. And yeah, you can't forget about their third wide receiver, Bo Corrales, too. He had just over 500 yards with 6 touchdowns. So yeah, this offense is going to be really good. I think they'll be one of the better ones in the ACC, no doubt. I could consider them a top 3 offense heading into 2020. I mean, when you got Sam Howell, who was a great quarterback last season, he had 38 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. That is an excellent touchdown to interception ratio. Yeah, so I think this team is definitely going to be a team to watch out for, certainly. The main losses for this team are on the line, or on the offensive and the defensive lines. They do lose 3 offensive linemen. That's going to be a major hit to this offense. But once again, that's all that they're losing starting wise. They also lose 2 defensive linemen and 2 linebackers, as well as 1 in the secondary. So yeah, this defense does take a couple of hits. They do lose 5 starters, but this offense I think is going to be good enough to be able to carry this team quite a ways for sure. But will North Carolina be able to win their division? I certainly think it's going to be very possible. Of course, as you know, over the past few years, we've seen pretty much every team in that division win that division. Of course, we saw Virginia last season, and yeah, I believe over the past 8 years, I think I saw a stat that there's been a different team to win that division over the past 7 years. And North Carolina was a part of that at one point, but I expect them to be part of it again. I think North Carolina is my early favorite to win that division. I think it'll be kind of competitive there between them and Virginia Tech and Virginia. But yeah, I really think that North Carolina's got a really good shot to do it. And I look at this offense and I just think, man, yeah, this team's got a ton of potential. And then you got Mack Brown, who I think is just an excellent coach. Of course, we watched him at Texas. He did a really good job there. Yeah, I expect that to be about the same at North Carolina. I think he's going to do a great job with this team. And is North Carolina an ACC dark horse? I'd say absolutely. Typically, I mean, we see a lot of teams in the ACC that are looking to be much improved heading into 2020. Like you could see that about Louisville, Virginia Tech, a couple other teams like that. And I believe North Carolina is among that. I think North Carolina, once again, is a team that could definitely be able to compete with Clemson this upcoming season, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, they got so much talent on this offense. I think that's going to help them a ton. Yeah, nonetheless, let's look at your schedule for North Carolina, and this is going to be their worst enemies, the schedule. It's pretty tough next season. You got UCF to start off this season, is what I should say, on September 4th. You got them on the road. Then you got Auburn in a neutral location. that will be a tough game certainly there, as it would be in any other circumstance. But then you got James Madison on the 19th. You got Georgia Tech and Virginia. In the following weeks, you got Virginia Tech on October 10th. That is going to be a major game there. You got to win that one. You also got Duke and Miami on back-to-back road games. You got UConn to kick off November, followed by Pitt, Boston College, and NC State. So it looks like your October is going to be your toughest month, having Virginia on the road, and then you got Virginia Tech, which that will be a tough game, and then Duke and Miami both on the road. So you'll be on the road 3 times in October, so that's going to be pretty tough to deal with. But yeah, here's what I'm expecting. I'll give you 4 guaranteed wins for North Carolina. I say you beat James Madison, Georgia Tech, UConn, and NC State. And once again, in our schedule previews, we don't go over every game. We'll go over every game in our actual predictions. But yeah, your record estimation, 8-4 to 10-2 for North Carolina. I expect them to be really good next season. I think they're going to be right up there with winning the division next season. I think it's going to be between them and Virginia Tech. Possibly Virginia could get in there as well. But once again, it's going to be a tough division. I think North Carolina really needs to win their division games, especially like Virginia. That's going to be a really important game. But yeah, nonetheless, let me know your thoughts on North Carolina in the comments below. Let me know whether you disagree with anything here. But thank you all for watching once again. Be sure to stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. If you joined this schedule preview, be sure to slap a like on it. Subscribe if you'd like to. I'd really appreciate that. Really helps out the channel. But yeah, thank you all for watching once again. Stay tuned for more. I will see you all later.